Hello everyone, welcome back to my astrology channel. Today we're going to talk about Saturn in your 6th house. So let's understand, what is Saturn? So Saturn is a delay. Saturn is a karmic planet, and it believes in you doing the good deeds, doing your karma, okay? So it's a delay, it's patience, hard work, persistence, obstructions, because Saturn is going to bring those obstructions in your life because it's going to test your patience. It's going to test that delay, your hard work. Saturn is also discipline. Saturn is a fair judge. He's an elderly fair judge. Saturn rules your knees all the way down to your ankles. So you could have issues with those if your Saturn is weak. Saturn does not like that you take shortcuts or deceive anyone. So you may get thrown into an opportunity where you may do that in other malefic influences too. But Saturn will test you. So as long as you come out good, that's good. Talk about Saturn in your 6th house. What is the 6th house? 6th house is a house of pain, debt, disease, house of enemies, house of competition. It's a house of your daily job, your daily service, also service on a job, service to people, service to animals. You can see your animals from here. It's also your competition, as I mentioned, your enemies is also seen from here, any kind of conflict, things like that. So when Saturn sits here, what does it do? It is going to amplify those things, as in it is going to give you the competition. It is going to give you your enemies, maybe conflicts, maybe pain, maybe some debt, maybe some disease. And Saturn sitting here is going to want you to continue fighting, but fight humbly, fight with the discipline, with the patience, with the perseverance, fight with hard work. Whatever you get in life, Saturn is going to look and make sure that you're fighting the right battle ethically and honestly, and persevere in it. Don't give up. So that's what Saturn is doing. So you're gonna see those things in your life. Maybe even your daily job. If you have like a service job, Saturn sitting there may delay that job also. You may get that job much later on in your life. Perhaps you're doing a business or something. Maybe you're in a family business, depending on where all the other lords are and all the other planets are. If you're doing a family business, then that job element won't come into play for you, the service element. So those are the things that you would see when Saturn is sitting in the 6th house. Now let's talk about the 3 aspects that Saturn will place when it's sitting in the 6th house. First aspect Saturn is going to place is going to be on your house number 8. House 8 is the house of research, depth, secrets. If you take food in from your mouth in the 2nd house and you excrete the food out, but house 8. Saturn in 8th house is also your in-laws, your spouse's family. So Saturn sitting in the 6th house, when it's placing that aspect on the 8th house, as I mentioned, it's also your spouse's family. But you have to show courage. The 3rd aspect is of showing courage, working hard in that particular department. So you will have to show courage that your in-laws are great, that your spouse's family is great, even if they're not great. But if they're in a Saturn sign, more than likely they will be good, and you just have to change your thinking, your perspective about them. This is also a house of in-depth research. So if you're in some kind of research work, maybe you're a surgeon, you have to continue working hard at that job. Like I said, it's also a house where you excrete, whatever you eat. So you got to make sure you eat right. If you don't eat right, that part of your body can get impacted. And then Saturn wants to tell you, hey, you need to work hard at eating right. So that part is good. And that's a few examples. And now let's talk about the 7th aspect of Saturn, which is going to be on house number 12. What is the 7th aspect? As I mentioned in my other videos, it's an aspect where Saturn wants to be fair. Saturn wants you to be fair to that house. Treat that house with utmost discipline. So Saturn sitting here, aspecting that house. What is house 12? It is a house of expenses. It is the house of foreign settlement. It is the house of your isolation, hospital, It is a house of jail. So when Saturn is sitting in the 6th house, it wants you to do whatever's fair when you are somehow connected to that house. So for instance, if you're a doctor, surgeon, or whatever you are, they want you to work fairly wherever you're working, okay, with full discipline. That's when Saturn is going to bless you. You cannot take shortcuts. You cannot deceive anyone. Same with expenses, make sure you're working hard. Make sure you're working fairly when it comes to expenses. You're not showing something else and your expenses are not something else, So you got to make sure to have the fairness element in that house, because it's what you give is what you're going to get back. So Saturn will make sure that that's something, when you work hard at it, Saturn will bless you. Now, meditation is also seen from that house. So if you want to meditate, if you don't have that feeling, if you may get the feeling of isolation, because it's a house of isolation, right? So you may get that feeling of isolation, of detachment from people, or situations may arise where you feel like you are being detached from people. Now you got to reach out to meditation. Now you got to work hard at meditation to get that center in your head. Okay, let's talk about the next aspect. That is going to be on house 3. That is the 10th aspect. And as I've always mentioned, the 10th aspect is going to be one of the most troublesome aspects that you are going to pretty much work your whole life. And that is an aspect that you want to fix on any cost, because that is an aspect you want to fix because it's so near and dear to you, that particular aspect. Throughout your life, you're going to get thrown things at you that is going to keep bringing that aspect down, but you have to keep lifting that aspect up. The 10th aspect is an aspect of hard work, because Saturn owns the 10th house in the Kalpurush Kundali. So that's a house of hard work. So you got to work hard at this. Here, it's on the 3rd house. 3rd house is a house of siblings, younger siblings, house of hard work also. It's a house of short travels. It's a house of media, communications. How do you communicate? If house 2 is speech, this is how do you communicate? What words come out of your mouth and how do they sound? So maybe that's an issue with you. Maybe you are not confident in your speaking skills, in your communication skills. Maybe you're not working hard, or you are working hard, but you're not confident in the work that you're putting in, how hard it is. And maybe you want to do some work related to media, but you're not putting in that work. Or you're working in media your whole life and you just want to achieve that stardom, or you call it some kind of a status, and you're not able to. Your younger siblings, maybe you have some issues with your younger sibling as you're growing up, but that is one part that you want to fix at any cost. So as you approach 40, 45, Saturn matures at 36, that part starts to get better. It starts to get better. You may have issues with that, say from your 20s to maybe your 40s, but after 40s, it will start to get better and it will become a really, really good house if you keep putting in the hard work on it. It can really take you to high fame, high status. So perhaps your skills in media could take you to higher status. Perhaps your younger siblings connected with you in media, working hard, can take you up on that fame and that status level. It's also your childhood friends too. So, you can relate that to this house. So if you have this placement, definitely reach out to us in the comments and tell us what you are seeing in your life. And we do offer horoscope consultations, so reach out to us in the link below in the description. And please don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you don't miss out on any updates that we have. And thank you so much for watching.